Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So quick reminder that currently I do have an active $250 giveaway happening on the channel. We're going to be basically giving away 25 summoner sigils. If you have a sigil already, you can still enter and just use it for your next sigil renewal purchase. And the rules are very simple. Basically take a screenshot of you reenacting any MCU fight in MCOC and then open an Epzone account and send that screenshot to Oliver. I will leave a link with the full instructions in the video description. Definitely check it out. But now we're going to be talking about Summer of Pain. No, not Summer of Pain. The Eternity of Pain leaked fights. Now, Code the Goth is who posted it on YouTube and has been making the rounds. So we'll leave a link to original Code the Goth video in the video description as well. All that being said, let's go and check it out. So the week 1 fight is going to be Crossbones with Force of Will and Biohazard. So that already reminisces of that 6.15 boss that everybody got stuck on initially. So Biohazard obviously will mean that you have to be able to deal with bleed and or poison debuffs. Vital Strikes makes it so that you can't really hit his block, otherwise he's going to be regenerating quite a lot of damage, and there's obviously Bane that's going to make it even more fun. Then we're going to have Inflated Ego, where he will have to have at least 3 buffs in order for you to do damage, and his buffs are going to last longer. So obviously you're going to start looking at, bleed and or poison immune champions for the Biohazard primarily. And other than that, I think you probably can kind of skill your way past this fight, as long as you get good Bane transfers. That's kind of like the main thing, and avoid hitting his block. Keep in mind that he's going to be shrugging off the parry stunts. So with that being said, potentially Magneto House Effects could be a very good option here as well, even though his ability accuracy can't be reduced. But if you have the passive stun, he can never shrug it off, and you should be able to get kind of like fairly solid openings. But who knows? I'll have a thought about that. I haven't come up with the perfect counters for all of these fights yet, but it will definitely, be nice to have a heads up thinking of the counters here. So the next fight is going to be Icarus, and Icarus is going to be definitely a lot more tricky just because of his increased power gain and how he works with those detonations and everything else. So he's going to have Ragnarok, which means every time you stun him, he's going to gain a Fury, basically. Then Fuel to the Fire. Whenever the defender gains a Fury effect, they become passively unstoppable for 5 seconds. If they already are passively unstoppable, they become passively unblockable for 5 seconds. So that will make it so that you probably want to use a champion that can deal with passive unstoppables and or unblockables. And to make it all the more fun, there's going to be Mighty Charge. That's going to make it trickier for you to keep the slow on the Icarus. And then on top of that, we're going to have whenever defender is immune to any effect, they gain a passive Fury. And the defender has infinite protection also until you knock him down, so you have to knock him down plenty. And then there's also a special burst lockdown somewhere in there as well. So liquid courage double edge are going to be limited in their usability. So this is going to be a trickier fight, dare I say, where you do not necessarily want to parry a lot and you have to keep him knocked down. But we'll see how it works out. Maybe it just looks scary and you can just end up torching him down. But yeah, it does look quite tricky there with that passive unstoppable and blockable. But who knows? So that's the week 2 fight. Now we have week 3 fight is going to be Blade. And this is going to be quite interesting fight as well, because we have Surge Protector, where basically every time you strike the opponent, they gain a surge charge. And whenever they use a special attack, they save the power based on how many surge charges they have had. If you use a special attack against them, then you can deal a burst of damage to them. On top of that, his special attacks are going to be unblockable, which means you never want to push him to level 2. Destructive Feedback, everybody's favorite, is making a comeback here as well. And then we're going to obviously have Plagued Mind to make it harder for you to use special attacks. Power Drain, and lastly we have Power Lapse. Each time defender is inflicted with a Power Drain, Burn, or Power Steal effect, they become less and less potent. So another interesting one. So this is going to be the week 3 fight. And the final one is going to be Big Bad Dormammu. Now, Dormammu is going to have 90% increased energy resistance. He will also be placing those placebo buffs that give you 40% chance to gain a placebo buff whenever striking the defender. Placebo buffs have no effect, but they do expire, I think. I'm not sure if they are indefinite. Buffed up, the defender takes 100% less damage, while the attacker has less than 3 buffs applied to them. But you're going to be helped out by this no surrender node, which can let you mitigate up to 90% of degeneration damage and actually throw it back at the opponent. However, there is Footloose, where after activating special attack they go unstoppable and have a huge chance to evade as well. Steady Perseverance, which can make Dormammu be stun immune. And then we're gonna have Prey on the Weak as well, which can give him extra power. So these are the 4 fights. Oh, and there is also enhanced parry, my bad. So you're gonna be gaining power gain buff over 5 seconds every time you parry. Obviously that can trigger Dormammu's degeneration. Now, these are the fights that we can see here. We do not have the information of the special objectives, which will inevitably make these a lot harder, because it's gonna basically enable us to do these fights with a very limited pool of champions, and we do not have the information of rewards. However, as a base idea, who to face and who to get yourself ready against, you can already start theory crafting. You can start figuring out which are going to be your counters. My personal recommendation is probably not to sweat the theory crafting for week 2, because you still have time. Just make sure that you have counters for the week 1. And when it comes to this one, so it does look like striking the block could be quite tricky, but for instance, if I'm not mistaken, it could just be that Warlock actually looks like a perfect counter. Now, as I have been recording this video on a spot, kind of trying to turn the gears in my head, I realized that Warlock would be amazing for this, because well, Force of Will doesn't really matter. Infection would still work. Whoops, that's for a different video that I may upload, because Biohazard doesn't affect Warlock anyhow. Now we have Vital Strikes that would give him regeneration, so every time you strike the block, you'd actually be power draining him, and you'd be bypassing that regeneration that he has. And then Bane should be quite easy to transfer with Warlock, because you would be able to drop your level 1s or level 3s for power control. And then Inflated Ego shouldn't be an issue, nor would extend. So Warlock does seem like a very good option here, just theoretically speaking. So hey, we came up with one. Let me know what you guys think, what will be your options for each and every single one of these fights. And again, the key aspect will be that, if I'm not mistaken, and I can double check here on their announcement about the about the Eternity of Pain, because we're gonna have these objectives, and if I'm not mistaken, then Thronebreakers are gonna have 2 objectives a week, and Paragon players are gonna have 3 objectives a week. Here we go, 3 weeks. Each of these fights will be accompanied by 2 solo objectives for you to try and overcome, and with the 5th week, you're gonna have 4 solo objectives in the last week. Last week I didn't show, but the final week is basically all of those 4 fights combined in one straight line, so you need to just clear all 4 of those fights with a team of 3 champions. But there's going to be 4 solo objectives for it. So, and Paragon players will have 3 objectives a week and 5 in the final week. So that is going to be where the real difficulty lies. If you have played Summer Pain in past, getting the fights down was relatively easy. Getting the fights down with very specific champions was much harder, and also much more roster demanding. So if you looked at these fights and you think, it's fairly easy, it's fairly doable, yeah, maybe, but we don't know what those solo objectives are, and those solo objectives can skyrocket the difficulty to infinity and beyond. So if you are trying to get kind of like overconfidence, like I got this, don't be. Really don't be. Because the real trick lies in those solo objectives that we do not know yet about. But that is going to be pretty much it. Again, I found this in, this was from Code to Goth video, so I'm going to leave a link to his original video as well. And alternatively, do not forget that the giveaway is happening. And we're giving away $250 to 25 different summoners, basically a month worth of Summoner Sigil. And if this giveaway goes well, we're going to be doing next one. Just letting you know. Either way. Right. If you have any questions, obviously do not hesitate to ask. But that is going to do for this vid. Let me know what you guys think about Eternity of Pain and everything else coming to the game, and I will catch you guys later. See ya.
Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about